Hello friends, this is Jasu Bakuhatsu, and welcome back to Let's Play the Incredible Crash Dummies for the NES. So I keep saying for the NES, and yeah, like I said, there are actually a few other Crash Dummies games. There's actually kind of, as far as my research tells me, there's basically 3 different distinct Crash Dummies games that came out, and then they sort of copied some of them between platforms. Like there's the NES version, which, so the certain enemies will take off your head as well. So the head stays off, and the way to get your head back is you need to collect, basically a life power-up. Your life counter is those heads in the lower left corner, and there's head power-ups that you find to restore life, and if you get one of those, you'll get your head back, but they're not, those power-ups, life is actually kind of difficult to come by in this game, which is part of what makes the later levels so tricky, but... So yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to go backwards for the rest of this level, probably, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's actually not too difficult. It's only the left-right, we can handle that. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the different Crash Dummies games. So there's the NES one, which actually kind of stands apart from the others. Then there was one on the Mega Drive or not the Mega Drive. Mega Drive was stupid. I always get the Mega Drive and Master System mixed up. Mega Drive was the Genesis, but anyways, there was the Genesis/Super Nintendo Crash Dummies game, which was basically just 2 ports of the same game. And then there was the Master System and Game Boy Crash Dummies games, which were also basically just copies of each other. And so yeah, basically 3 distinct. Yeah, it's kind of tricky because you actually got to get a bit of a running start to make the height on this jump. There we go. Oh, and again, I got stuck there again because I didn't, as a kid, because I didn't know that those were bouncy platforms. So yeah, basically, yeah, 3 distinct Crash Dummies games. The others, or the Master System and Game Boy one is kind of different from the others. Like the Genesis and Super Nintendo one is just is also just a 2D platformer, basically, except a shittier one than this one, which is a bit strange, considering that, in general, I think, 2D platformers on the 16-bit systems tend to be better, I think, than the old ones. The company certainly refined... Damn! Okay, I'm almost tempted just to, sit here and wait this out so that... In fact, yeah, let's just do that. Or you know what? Let's not waste time. We can handle being headless. We just take it like not a man, but I guess a dummy. Okay, there we go. So yeah, Genesis and Super Nintendo one, basically just somewhat crappier 2D platformer than this one. No really interesting or distinctive mechanics to speak of. And then the Game Boy and Master System one was quite different. It was almost like an old-style arcade game where it's like you're climbing a building and moving across windowsills and dodging. It's kind of like if you guys have seen, not a real video game, but if you guys have seen Wreck-It Ralph, it looks and kind of plays like Fix-It Felix from the Wreck-It Ralph movie. Which, there we go. This is a bit weird. So we've got kind of a puzzle, I guess, instead of a boss. It's not. They say crack the code. It's like they want it to be a puzzle, but it's really just like a reflex, or basically just a speed test. You got to hit all these switches. Dang it! And that's not probably gonna do it for me. Yeah. So basically, you got to hit all these switches in the order that the blinking light tells you, which is actually pretty tricky if you don't have a handle on the wheel controls. And you can lose a lot of time just because of on account of how bouncy. And I think that's the main kind of interesting quirk of the wheel mechanics is less so like the acceleration or momentum or anything like that. There's not a ton of that really. I think the NES probably wasn't even capable of sort of that level of physics like Sonic the Hedgehog type, rolling momentum and whatnot. But it is bouncy, which is kind of the most distinctive characteristic of the wheel controls in this game, and also kind of the most difficult and potentially frustrating aspect, because you've really got to you basically just kind of have to stop dead in your tracks after every jump before making it. Like if you say if I were on the wheel here, I'd have to like stop and like bounce. It'd be like stop, bounce, jump, stop, bounce, jump, and it just kind of slows you down and is a little bit annoying. So I can kind of see. Like I've seen people talk about this game online, and the wheel guy in general is not a popular character. It's like people kind of see it as being a kind of unnecessarily gimmicky and kind of a transparent attempt to set the game apart from, you know, other 2D platforms. Basically to just kind of add uniqueness and distinctiveness to what would otherwise be kind of just a bog standard 2D platformer without much of anything to recommend it. But honestly, I don't see how that's a bad thing. Like, that's just... like, if anything, I'm glad that they sort of tried something different, and it makes the game a bit... yeah, like I said, it makes it just a bit different. Something a little bit different from the norm, especially from back in those days. I can't think of any, like, NES platformers that played quite like this one. Wow, we're actually coming up near the end of this level now. Or, no, actually, we still got a couple more layers to go. And yeah, speaking of, how much effort they put into this game, it's, like, kind of crazy, really. Like, the graphics... Like, yeah, considering how, like, it's a Crash Dummies game. You would never expect, like, quality from this license as far as, like, video games go. You would expect, like, the kind of game that we got from those other shitty games I was talking about, the other crappy Crash Dummies games. But this one, like, considering, like, I mean, it's a late NES game, mind you, but even so, like, for the NES, this looks, like, it's pretty good graphics, like, fairly detailed. Like I said, I like the animation as well of the dude's little power walking animation. That's like, I don't know, I just love it. And oh, the music in this game is spectacular too. It's like, I don't know why, they just went like all out with the music for some reason. There's like some really good tracks in this game, and it's like honestly one of the better 8-bit soundtracks out there, I think, which is pretty crazy. And I guess what's also crazy is, wow, that was a really short level, shorter than I remembered. So yeah, we're coming to the end of that's stage 2 of the Incredible Crash Dummies. That's what, 2 down, 3 to go, I think. Pretty sure there's 5 stages in this game. Could be wrong. Again, we'll find out. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in stage 3.